What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Abe. This is EVE Online, and we're going through our I'm in Null Now What series, and we just talked about ratting, and I wanted to spend just a really quick video talking about escalations. And so, if you remember, here I'll undock and I'll show you the as you do all of these combat anomalies, and you kill wave after wave of pirates. We'll stop ourselves here. Um, you may get something called an escalation, and you'll get a little pop up on the screen, and then if it tells you that you received a signal from a nearby system, and you're going to be able to go check it out. Whatever escalation it is, you can look up online what the hubs escalate to, what the havens escalate to, and what those escalations are. But just to sort of give you a really quick overview, an escalation is something a little bit more involved and has the potential for a lot more loot and reward than one of these anomalies over here. So you'll get the little pop-up, and then if you can't figure out where it is, open up your agency. Used to be in your journal, now it's in the agency. But if you open up your agency, it'll show up on here, and you can go and then figure out where it is. So there are some things to consider when let me dock up here just for safety. There are some things to consider when either going and doing an escalation that you got, or buying and then performing an escalation that somebody else has sold to you. Basically what you get is a bookmark to a location somewhere, and it may be 10 to 20 systems away from where you're currently at. So that's your first consideration. How far away is it? And is it something that you are going to be able to do? So look it up online, but invariably, if it's a 10 out of 10 escalation, you're going to need a battleship, either a Macarial or a Rattlesnake, or something devoted specifically to it, or a T3 cruiser in order to do these. Now, the Tengu, which is the Caldari T3 cruiser or Tech 3 cruiser, is generally, I think, the preferred ship of choice. And part of why that is, let's go to the Caldari here. There we are. There's the Tengu. It's very much the favored PvE ship that people fly around in for these things. But regardless, so once you figure out kind of how far away it is, you'll need to know, and probably before you prepare to do something like this, whether you have a ship that can do it. For some of the lower level escalations, it may be a non-issue. Maybe, I haven't looked into it, maybe you can do it in your VNI, but maybe you've got another ship that's set aside just for those escalations. And so is it safe for you to get from where you're currently at, or where you have this nice ship, to where the escalation is? And that's part of the reason why people like these T3 cruisers, because they can outfit them for transport or travel. So they're immune to warp bubbles and gate camps and things like that, and they can warp cloaked, and there's all kinds of nice aspects to the T3 cruiser that a battleship, for example, will likely not have. And so can you get there safely? Because a lot of times you're going to have to fly a very nice ship in order to successfully complete that mission or that escalation, and those ships are worth quite a bit. It could be upwards of 1 to 5 billion ISK, and you don't want to just go hopping gate to gate in for 10 or 20 gates out through Null to reach something, and then have to come back with whatever loot that you've got. It's too easy to get caught in roaming gangs or gate camps or any number of different problems. So that's something to consider. And also, they have a 24-hour time limit, basically, that the site will expire within 24 hours. So if you buy one, be sure to pay attention to where it is, but also how much time is remaining on it. People will sell them usually right when they get them. And if it's a 10 out of 10, it sells for like 110 to 150 million ISK. And you're looking at, probably a couple hours to do it, maybe an hour or less if you're really good at it. I spent I did my first one yesterday, and it took me all day because I was doing it. I was taking my time. It was very slow, and yeah, I was learning. So I tried to do so safely. But yeah, they're very lucrative, and they have the potential for a lot of reward if if you get through it. But be careful, know where it's at, how much time is left, and if it's in a system that has an open wormhole, maybe you can roll and close the wormhole before you do it, or whatever. Just keep your head up and pay attention to local as always, and your intel channels. And the nice thing is that if you're in an escalation, people can scan you down, but they can't warp to you. They can only warp to the beginning of the escalation. And so I think what some people do is they'll leave the first pocket entirely populated, and if they can, warp to the second pocket, or basically what they're trying to do is leave a huge batch of enemies between them and whoever might come to attack them, so that this person has to be able to absorb all of the damage from that site, or from that pocket anyway, in order to get through to where you are. So on one hand, you're sort of exposed because you're in this very expensive combat ship and you're outfitted for PvE, but on the other, you can be participating in my intel channel. But on the other, you are relatively safe because you can see them coming, you can scan for probes, and then know that even once you see probes, that they're going to have to go through however much you had to go through in order to get to where you are, and that gives you time to warp away. So, escalations. That's another way to make money. And once you have a ship like that is capable of doing these things, then that can be almost your primary form of income if you want. You can only run escalations. You can buy them in the in your trade channel and from your corporation and alliance mates, and just do that over and over and over again. And they're very lucrative if you can successfully do them without losing your ship. So something to think about, and that's another option for ways to spend your time and earn a little ISK and play with your friends. Now, if you go in with corp mates, a lot more fun and a lot less dangerous. So just make sure that everybody can take what damage is coming, and you'll all have a good time. So escalations, and I think in the next one we will talk about the activity defense multiplier, or what little I know about it, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. Hit me up with what questions and comments you have, and I will see you in the next video.